This is John Black, Super Chemist. This video is not intended to be imitated. No parts of it should not be copied or done by you or anybody. It's just for educational and maybe entertainment purposes to watch. That's it. The bottom half of the screen, you'll see two charts and some information to the right of it. The charts are wrong and the information to the right is wrong, and you'll notice that's why I never talk about them. I skip right over them. Please ignore those charts. Here's the equation. We got some sodium benzoate, 1 mole of hydrochloric acid, and we will make our benzoic acid. It'll precip out. These will both be in solution. This will precip out, and as you know, sodium chloride soluble, so it'll stay in solution. A great thing about benzoic acid is you can actually use water to recrystallize it. I mean, it's great for it. Like, it's real soluble in hot water, but it's insoluble almost in cold water. These are the molar masses. You can see that. And I went with molar masses because of the recrystallization. You know, you probably get like a 90% yield. We'll see. Keep in mind, how do you make an acid? Like, how do you make acetic acid? You get the salt of acetic acid and you drip a stronger acid onto it, like sulfuric acid. How do you make nitric acid? You get the salt of that nitric acid, like potassium nitrate, and you drip a stronger acid on it, like sulfuric acid. Now, how do you make benzoic acid? You get the sodium salt of that benzoic acid and you drip a stronger acid on it, and that's what we're doing. It produces the only difference is this is a solid. How much water am I going to use? Let's see, this is sodium benzoate solubility and this is sodium chloride solubility. I have 144 grams of sodium benzoate. At 100 degrees Celsius, 71 grams can go into solution. I times that by 2, it's 142 grams. So I need slightly more than double, because these are solubilities of 100 milliliters of water. So I would need double that, 200 milliliters of water, plus a little bit more. And I did the math, it came out to 230 milliliters. And it's going to go up to 250. Now, even at 200 milliliters, how much salt? Now we're going to go the opposite way, because when we get to add these together, they're all going to be in solution. But when you add them together, this will precip out, right? So this is a solid. This is a solid too, though. But we're going to take it all the way down to 0 degrees so that we can precip as much as we can out, possible, right? So we want to know, what is the solubility of salt at 0 degrees, not 100 degrees. And in this case, it is 35.65. We times that by 2 because that's how much goes into 100 milliliters of water. We have 200 milliliters, so we times by 2. We can get 71 grams of table salt into 200 milliliters of water. And we're only making 58. We're only making 60 grams, say. So we're definitely good there. This should easily be able to go into 200, and plus we're going to put 250. So it's definitely no problem. That's why we came up with the solution, 250 milliliters. Yeah, I got 144 grams of sodium benzoate. Got a stir bar in there, 250 milliliters of water. I think I'm going to have to put more water in there, though. This might take forever. This is a lot of sodium benzoate. Oh, maybe not. It's going in there pretty good. This is taking too long, so I put 200 more milliliters of water in here. I figure I can clean this flask out with it too. I'm going to add it. Hopefully help that dissolve faster. When it gets done dissolving, I'll be back. It's been like an hour or something. This just won't dissolve. It's kind of cloudy. It's making it look all discolored. So as you can see, I'm filtering it little by little. It's coming down. You can see how clear it is now. Just gonna see how it's kind of like cloudy and makes it look yellowish, brownish. It looks like dirty water, or like something isn't dissolved all the way. So maybe there's an impurity, maybe I'm not using enough water. Either way, it's coming out clear. It's very little, so I could care less if I lose it. I just woke up, got this stuff out of the refrigerator. I'll pour this 100 milliliters of HCl into the sodium benzoate, and we're going to make sodium chloride and benzoic acid. Now the sodium chloride is soluble, but I'm going to get a, you'll see when I pour it in, it'll precip. See that? I'll stir that up. Make sure it all reacts. It's getting thicker and thicker. Alright, I got my benzoic acid. It's in the water still. Put it in the freezer for a while. Got some ice cold water, about a liter almost. And I got my filter. And of course this. Now I forgot to say, I did a pH of this water, and it is a pH of 1. Because you do want to have excess HCl, not excess sodium benzoate. Because HCl won't recrystallize in your product. Whereas if you have a little bit of sodium benzoate, maybe it will a little bit. So I'm just basically, we'll just add a little bit of water and put it in there. And I'm going to pour this liter of cold water through here as I stir it up and wash it to get the sodium chloride out of there and get that excess HCl. Alright, I washed that all up with that 1,000 milliliters of freezing cold water. Sucked as much water out as I could with my vacuum pump. And now this pot here, this stuff that got filtered through, I'm going to put that in the freezer, let some more precip out, and do the same thing with that. Push it up with some water, try to get it clean, because there's still some more stuff in there. Well, there it is. I got it, my stuff. And here I got about 500, really it's 450, but since I heated it up, it's 500 milliliters of water. Got a stir bar in there, and basically I'm just going to put pieces in here and try to dissolve it. This is going to take forever. And here's the solubilities of benzoic acid at 0 degrees, 18 degrees, and 100 degrees Celsius. Now these aren't in 100 milliliters of water. These are in 1 liter of water. So 1.7 grams there, 2.7 here, and then it jumps all the way up to 56 grams here. Now how much do we need to recrystallize it? Well, let's double this. Double that would be 112.62 grams. We have 120, so we need 2 liters to get this, right, in the solution. What's the difference between that? About 7 grams, right? 120 minus 113. 7 times 8 is 56, and that's how many grams will be in a liter. So we have 1/8 of that, right? Because 7 times 8 is 56. So we take a liter, or 1,000 milliliters, and divide it by 8. We would need 125 milliliters for that extra 7 grams, right? Because it's 1/8 of this, so we'd have to have 1/8 of 1,000 milliliters, which is 125 milliliters. That is total 2,125 milliliters. I used 2,500 milliliters, so I added in an extra, whatever, 375 milliliters. So So that would account for a gram or two. Also, you know, that's almost a half a liter, so that's almost a gram there. Why I got such a bad yield? 75% is terrible. Maybe that's some sodium benzoate. Benzoate is not as pure as I think it is. Although I thought it would be like, you know, 95% pure or something like that at least. Maybe it's less pure, or maybe I'm just doing something wrong. Okay, so I had to move up to something bigger. I got this big pot. Put 2,000 milliliters of water in there. That's 2 liters. Plus the 500 milliliters from before. I dumped it in there. You can see it's still got stuff that needs to dissolve. But I'll keep stirring it up and heating it, and hopefully it'll dissolve. Alright, so I brought this to a boil. Made sure everything was soluble. You can see I got a lot of crap in there. So I'm going to pour it into this glass container. Okay, I'm going to put that in the refrigerator and the freezer, let it cool down so some more stuff can pre-sip out. Check it out. Got it cooled down. It's got a lot of stuff in it. We're going to filter it all out. Let me tell you something. This stuff really stinks when you when you heat it up. I mean, the impurity is like, oh my god, I think that's what it is, the impurity. I got some frozen stuff in there. Oh well, I'm going to fill this all out and wash it with some cold water. You see I got some ice in there. That way it stays nice and cold. It'll melt as because it's going to take a while. That way everything will stay 0 degrees Celsius. So that's all the crystals there. You can see that nice and white. There's no, you know, dark tint to any of the crystals or anything like that. It's all nice and clear and white. You can see down there it's nice and yellow tint to the water. So I got some ice cold water. I'm going to try to get some of the stuff out of here and then wash this. And then I'm going to stir this up while I do this. Get anything that's in the middle. You can see it's kind of brownish in the middle there. Now I'm going to put this back in the freezer. I'm just going to let that gravity filter out while I stir it. Alright, so after stirring that for 5-10 minutes there, I'm going to suck it down with the vacuum pump. Well, there it is. It's 91 grams. That's only 75% yield. So there must be a lot of impurity into that sodium benzoate, but it's still a good deal, 74.5%. I would have been more happy with 90, but anyways, you all have a great day, and always remember, science is great.